What's up, everybody? So today we're going to be taking a look at the metal build Gundam Astray gold frame. This is the alternative strike version. This literally just came out, I want to say about a week ago. So we're not going to waste any time, so let's go. Okay, so let's take a look at the box here. So of course this is the front of the box here. This is the side. This is kind of at a weird angle just because these boxes tend to be a little bit on the tall side. So this is number, what, 16? All right, that is the back. So pretty cool there. And then that is the other side. So pretty basic for metal build. That's the top. And that is the bottom. So we've got that there. Now, a lot of people don't actually know the story of the gold frame. And so it's actually from the Astray manga. So you can actually read that in this one here. And that is volume 2 of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Astray. And so the story of the gold frame is in there. It's interesting. It's actually probably one of the least popular suits. You know, most people only think of the blue frame and the red frame, but there's technically 3 more, but there's, I don't really count the Mirage frame, but that's a whole nother story. So of course here, we've got the manual. So, and this is actually a pretty bare bones Astray. So that's your parts count there. All right. And the instructions on how to put them together. Not too bad there. So yeah, not too much with them. So that's pretty much it. So, all right. So I guess now we will take a look in the box and see what's inside. Okay, so these are the accessories that it comes with. I have not taken these out of the box yet. But of course, you got the 2 beam sabers here. You got the backpack there. You got the shield, the beam saber. You got the hyper bazooka that actually belongs to the duel. All right, and then you've got your assortment of hands here. You got open hands. Looks like you've got semi-open hands and hands for the holder. These are your actual plugs for the shoulder that gets blown off. So I'll get into that. That's the V-fin there. And these are the 2 shoulder parts for it. So pretty basic, like I said before. Also comes with a new stand. So, and I actually will be doing a comparison between this and the Muscle Bear. That should be quite interesting. But yeah, so that's what you've got for that. So let's take a look at, we move these to the side. And let's bring in this bad boy. So let's see, let's take him out here. I always like their presentation from Bandai. So they try to make sure their stuff is pretty secure. So that's good. Let's pull him out. Let's see if I can get my hand in there. All right. Let's move him to the side. Move that to the side there. So there you go. Definitely has different decals on him. But honestly, the color looks pretty similar. But yeah, that's what we've got. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this stuff on him, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so let's take a look at some articulation. Now, first things first, when we talk about articulation, this is just a side note. The V-fin. The V-fin is very, very small. There's a little slit that goes in here. Let's see if I can take it out. And it actually tends to come out on all the Astrays. But if you look at this here, let me get that to focus. You just got a little notch right there. That's it. That's all that's going in there. So a lot of times, especially when you're messing with the head or anything like that, this can fall out. All right, so let me put that back in there. All right, so you definitely want to be cognizant of that. Now, as far as articulation is concerned, with the head, most metal builds are actually quite on the articulated side. So as you can see, you look all the way down. He can look pretty far up, or at least he's not going to look, super far up, but that's enough, right? To to where you can see his eyes and things of that nature. So he does have that. Now, as far as the 360, he can't do it, but it's just because of the design here. Because what it is, if you go to the back here, he has this piece here. And this piece will normally get hit on the side here of the front armor. And so if you can find a way to kind of put this, to get this up, I'm pretty sure he would be able to do 360. But unfortunately, just due to that design, he can't really do it. But he has a wide range of motion in his head there. So you're going to have, you're going to get pretty close, you know. So there's not really much more I could have asked for than that. All right. So you got that for the head. Now for the shoulders, all right, with his arm, he can raise it all the way up just like that. Okay. So that's pretty good range of motion there. All right. And then you've also got some room here at the top of the armor, shoulder armor there. And so you can actually do quite well with that there. Whoops, see, and as you see, yeah, the V-fins like to come out on the Astray. That's just kind of how it goes. So that's just the design. I kind of wish, what I do wish, because just in case you do break that little notch, I actually do wish that they had more than one in there, because I know with some of them they did, like some of the strikes and stuff, they actually did have multiple V-fins or two V-fins just in case that breaks. But so, all right, so anyway, so there's the shoulder there. For the arm, you're not gonna really get 360 out of the bicep, okay? But you do have a really good elbow bend, all right? So you got a really good elbow bend right here. So that is quite good right there. So, and then with his whole shoulder and arm, he can do 360, okay? And one thing about the metal build, especially when you first get them, the joints tend to be really, really tight, right? So I know on my red frame, because that's the original red frame that I have, that one, the arm actually when I bought it was quite loose. And so I'm glad that they've kind of like tightened those a little bit. So that's what you got for the arms there. For wrist articulation, let's see, I mean, you can move it in and out, you know, up and down. This one actually does give you quite a bit there. So that little piece here will actually raise a little bit there. So you got some decent range of motion there in the wrist. Now for the ab articulation, what you've got is he can look down, okay? And then he can look way up. Let's see if I can do that. So you can kind of get him where he's all the way up like that. So what that is, you've probably got a ball joint here in the center. So that kind of gives him that ab articulation that he needs there. So, you know, you got pretty good range of motion there as well. For the legs, now the Astrays have a really good, their design actually leads to really good articulation, just because if you look at the front skirts here and even the side skirts, they're not very long like most mobile suits. So they tend to be relatively on the short side. So he's actually got quite a bit. So as far as his leg is concerned, I mean, you can get that up, and that's actually with the front skirt down. Actually, if I move that up, hold on. Oops, that's his back skirt there. But if I move this up, all right, then that's not really going to be in the way. He can actually get that up even higher than that 90-degree angle. So you got that there. All right, and then what you've got, and we'll push this back down. And then what you've got for the back skirts, these are on a little ball joint here. So you can't just plug those in. So sometimes those will come off and stuff like that. But especially once you start putting some of the packs on them and stuff like that, that can be a little bit of a nuisance, but just be aware of that. So that's what you've got for the legs. Let's take a look at the knee. So you can open that. He's got a really good knee bend there. So that is excellent, excellent knee bend there. So really, really good there. Bring him back down, okay. He doesn't really have any side swivel on the thigh. He's got a little bit just due to that design. So where you can kind of see the ball joint in there or whatever. But yeah, he doesn't get much that way, okay. But can he do the splits? Well, let's see. Let's open that up, bam. I mean, That's pretty doggone close. Of course, he wants to tip over. But there we go. Let me see if I can get him. All right. Well, but that's what he looks like there. I'm gonna hold his foot so he doesn't fall over. But that's what you've got for that. So that's really good articulation there. This design leaves a lot to have really good articulation. So that's really good there. And then for the ankles, you got quite a bit too, because there's not really a lot of armor, and that's just the design of the mobile suit itself. But you've got some toe articulation there, so that can go up, and then that can go down about that. All right, and then you can do it side to side. So you can actually do quite a bit with this articulation. And when I talk about articulation, this is what I mean. So in order, you've got to be able to be where you can kind of have some decent stands like that. And if I want to kind of bend that down, let's see, kind of doing like a, all right, like a fighting pose there. And he's pretty stable, just like that. So, you know, that's what you got. And this is why I believe that articulation is important, not just with Gundam, but with pretty much all figures. They need to be able to do things, especially if you're spending $200-300 for these things. You want them to be able to pull off some of the things that you saw them do, whether it's in the manga or the shows or et cetera, et cetera. So he has really good articulation. Now we'll get into taking a look at some of his weapons and stuff. Okay, so this is what the gold frame looks like with everything on him. So as you can see, he's kind of got a holder for his hyper bazooka in the back. All right, he's got the standard seed shield. He's with the standard Astray beam rifle. So, you know, it's pretty, it's pretty basic, right? Thing about this one, in the manga, pretty much after like his arm gets blown off, he pretty much gets, in essence, reformatted into the Amatsu Mina on Orb. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but that's pretty much what happens. So he's really only like this version of the gold frame for really like one chapter or one book in the manga. So, but for your beam sabers, let's take a look at these here real quick. Pull this off here real quick. All right, and then one thing about seed beam saber, they always seem to be a little bit on the sparkly side. So, and they did the same thing with these Astrays. So that's what you've got for the beam sabers. Now for his hands, all right. So first things first, he's really only got 3 sets of hands, right? So this hand is actually for the beam rifle, okay? So, and that's the one that we've got here. Now these are a lot, they're not like metal or anything. They are hard plastic, but they're not as hard as say like that Degarn that I just did. You actually can manipulate these a little bit better. So, but yeah, so those are your beam rifle hands there. These are for the hyper bazooka there. So he's got those hands there. I'm gonna make sure that that's in focus there. But yeah, so you've got that, and then you've got the open hands here. So, you know, so pretty run-of-the-mill. Nothing super special if you've bought Astray stuff before. It's pretty much got the exact same things. Now, one thing about this gold frame versus this one is not gold plated, so it's not electroplated or anything. You know, it's pretty much just painted gold. So that's what you've got there, and then you've got for the shield. Let's take this off right here. All right, and then of course that can move up and down, and this is pretty much standard with every seed shield. So you got that, and then let's see. All right, let's put that back on him. And then for this, now, all right, for the hyper bazooka, what you got here is you got the handle here. Now, in order to put this on him, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take out the shoulder, but I'm gonna do that here in a second. But what I wanna show you that the difference between this one mainly and the bootleg, let me get that to focus there, is that the level of detail. So you've got some decals in here, you have this painting in here, and it's about as light as the Muscle Bear one was, but it's a lot better done. So that's what you got here, but yeah, it's not very heavy at all. It's still plastic. But what you do is you actually have this piece here. Let's see if I can pull this out. So you've got this piece here, and what you do is you just put that in the back here of this tray, pretty much on the tail there, tailbone, whatever. All right, and then you'll take this, and this has 2 notches on right here. So here and here, and that's where this will be able to hold that in. So you literally just put that in there and slide that into place, and it's not really gonna move. I mean, granted, if you hit it hard enough, it will fall over or fall off, but that's what you've got for the Hyper Bazooka. So that's pretty much it. There's not much else to go over as far as what he comes with. Now, what I will do is I'll actually show you how to actually get that one-armed bazooka look. Okay, so now that we got everything back off of him, I'm going to show you kind of like what the gold frame is actually known for, and that's that his arm got blown off, and so he's got 2 different looks for that. So what you've got here is you're gonna have to pull this out, and this does come out relatively easy. All right, so we can pull that, take that to the side. Now what he's got 2 pieces here, and this is just a cover. Okay, now this one is a little bit of a pain in the butt to get off. Okay, but literally that just goes right on this side here, and that goes like this, and that just kind of fits right in there, just like that. Bam. Okay, so that's one look that he has. Okay, and then actually for his other arm, we'll do that too right now. So what you do, in order to get the bazooka to fit on, you actually pull this top part of this armor off. So let's pull that off. All right, and so what it shows is you got a little slit here, and then what you've got is you've got this one here. Okay, this part here, and that's just the top of the shoulder armor. And you really just plug that in right here. And then that just gives that that Hyper Bazooka a place to rest. And then you would just do, let's take out this hand here. Let's bring the Hyper Bazooka back. I already got the hands on there. Let's slide that in there like that. And then we're gonna push this up here, and then this actually will, all right, there we go. Trying to make sure I got everything in where I want it here. All right, so now that's pretty much resting on there nice and comfortable. Okay, so he's not gonna have any problems with that. That's not gonna really fall off or anything like that. It's not necessarily locked in there, but it does have a place to rest in there. So that's one of his looks, okay? So now you've got that. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna try to pull this off here. And this one can be kind of a pain in the butt because it doesn't like to. Okay, I'll tell you what, let me try to pull this off camera, and I'll be right back right after this quick break. Okay, so I was actually able to pull that piece off with a little bit of work. Like I said earlier, it's a pain in the butt, but what this is actually so you can actually have the shield attached. And so that's this piece here, okay? And so what you're gonna do pretty much is you're just gonna do it like this. Make sure I got it on there correctly. And you're just gonna slide it into this hole here, and then that kind of snaps into place. All right, just like that. And then what you would do is take the shield, and we're gonna pull this part out that goes into his arm. Pull that out, and then you put this on. Just like that. See if I can get that on there. All right, there we go. So that is his other look. So that's pretty much like his gimmick or look, depending on which one that you actually want. That's pretty much it. Now, actually what I will do is I'm actually going to go over a couple of other things. So I'm going to compare it to the Muscle Bear because I'm really interested to find out the differences between that bootleg one that I got many, many years ago and this one. And then we'll actually talk about, he's actually got an adapter, and what it is this adapter here. What this is actually so he can put like the L pack on. And, you know, that's what the alternative strike version. I know someone in the comments in one of my videos the other day asked me what the difference if there's an alternative strike version and a regular version. To my knowledge, there is no regular versions. That's just kind of like, if you get an alternative strike version, you know that you're going to be able to use like all the different striker packs. At least that's what I've always thought about it. So, but yeah, so this is his alternate backpack. So I thought I would show that. And I actually may put something on there. But let's get the Muscle Bear out and we'll take a look at those two side by side. So let's get into that. Okay, so now I've got the counterfeit out. And tell me if you can actually see the difference. For me, it's pretty apparent. But let's take a look here and see. For the Muscle Bear one being a bootleg, it's actually not half bad, but it does have some drawbacks, right? And I kind of talked about that in the video that I made about the Muscle Bear Astrays. I'll put that link in the description. But yeah, so pretty much like it's very interesting to have them side by side because before I actually got the new one, I was kind of like, well, I kind of already have one, but really the only reason why I bought this is because I thought Bandai was never going to make a gold frame because the gold frame is very niche. It's a very niche mobile suit just within the Astrays, you know, because most people, when they think of the gold frame, they think of the Matsumina, not the original suit. So, but as you can see, like this, the Muscle Bear actually fits the aesthetic of the original two releases of the Astray. So the red frame and the blue frame. And so they're a little bit chunkier on the legs there. I talked about the fact that the hips are not really good on this. So it is a pain to kind of get this guy to stand up. So normally I have him on a stand versus the Bandai one is just, it's so much better. It's actually thinner as well. So you notice like with all the releases of the Astrays that we've gotten over the last couple of years, they kind of keep making little refinements to it. And so as you see, like it's just not as chunky in the thighs, in the calf area, and you've got way more articulation there. Also for the Muscle Bear, you couldn't really hold this Hyper Bazooka. Actually, this is a tip for all those people that kind of have problems with holding weapons and things of that nature. If there's a problem, use sticky tack. That's how I got that. Modelers do that all the time. But for a lot of figures and stuff, sometimes they can't hold their weapons properly or to get them to do what you want to do. So sticky tack is what's been holding that thing on there for a couple of years now. To where with the Bandai one is just miles better. It looks better. The gold is brighter to where with the Muscle Bear, there's a little bit more copper. So it does have some gold. It does have some shiny gold. But it's also got copper as well. Not to say that this one doesn't have copper, but the copper is used sparingly. So if anybody actually watches this video from these companies, this is how you beat bootlegs. I know, like, especially if you've been in the Gundam collection game, whether it's models or figures for a while,
Bootlegs has kind of always been a part of it. I'm not going to go super in depth into how and why and what I think of it. But this is how you beat bootlegs. You just make a better product. And this is a relatively simple mobile suit, so there's not really much that you need to do, but I'm glad that Bandai actually did release it. Now, will they release a green frame? I don't know. I mean, I've read some articles. I think it was an article out of Korea. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the article for this review, but I guess they talked to the designer, the designer that did the Ashtrays for the Metal Build line. And he said that he actually already did the weapons for the green frame. So that is something possibly that we may get in the future. I don't know. I don't expect that this gold frame will actually sell very well, just for the simple fact that it's pretty basic, and if you're going to get the gold frame, you more than likely, most people will go with the Matsumina over this one. But I always wanted to have the original 4 suits minus the Mirage frame, but I always want to have the original 4 suits in their original Astray aesthetic, because I've always liked the original Astray aesthetic. So that's what you've got for the comparisons between these two. But yeah, it's pretty much, it's not even a competition. The Bandai is better. I'll take that 10 times out of 10. Okay, so now that we're over with that, I'll actually take a look, and we'll look at the backpack and see if we can get some of these other strike parts on there. Okay, so the last thing I want to go over is this adapter piece here. And let me get it to focus there. So you've got this adapter piece here, and this will hook onto the back of the gold frame, so he can kind of have some of the other striker packs connected. Now, in the instruction, it just shows the L pack. I know that this actually came out with the Divine Striker, and that's actually a testament piece. That's kind of weird that they did that, but oh well. But anyways, this, what I've found is that this doesn't stay in there very well. So if you have some of the heavier striker packs, like the IWSP pack or something like that, it will stay for a little while, but anytime it gets bumped, it will fall off. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to demonstrate that real quick. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this and put this in here. And so that just goes right in here. But to my knowledge, this doesn't really like lock in or clip in or anything. It just kind of sits there. And you see how that comes off like that? Like, it's just, that's not very good. So I don't know if I'm not doing something correctly or something, but it seems like it should just go in there, that it should at least lock into place. And you have, but as you see, it just keeps coming out. So of course, if it's coming out like that with no weight, then you can only imagine what it would be like if I actually put some actual weight on here. So let's see. All right, so that seems like it's a little bit better. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm actually gonna get the big boy out. We're gonna see how long this backpack stays on, because actually I don't have a spare L pack. The L pack is on my Perfect Strike right now, and I don't feel like taking it off because that is a hassle. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the IWSP pack here. And like I said, this is one of the heavier ones. And we're gonna try to get this to fit in there. So, but as you see, when I'm trying to put it in there, it's just kind of moving all around, and that's not a good sign. So, okay, so now I've kind of got it locked in to there, but as you see, there you go. So I don't really like this adapter piece, or maybe you just can only use it with some of the lighter striker packs. That may be the only thing that you can do. But as far as with some of the heavier ones like this guy, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to work. So, but yeah, I just wanted to show you that. And, you know, I've been actually messing with this for a little while off camera to see if maybe I wasn't doing something correctly, or that it's supposed to lock in there or something. But it really doesn't. It just kind of sits in there. And so it looks like that this adapter piece is mainly just for lighter striker packs, you know, even like some of the arms for the Red Dragon. you can put those in here, and that'll probably be able to hold those fine with no problem. But any of the heavier striker packs, good luck. As you see, it's not even, it doesn't even want to stay when there's nothing in there. So I just wanted to show you that. If you guys do find like maybe like I was doing something incorrectly or something like that, just let me know in the comments and I'll see, and I'll update this video. But yeah, so unfortunately, this one is a pass as far as this adapter piece. I know that some of the other metal builds did come with other adapter pieces. I may try one of those and see if that works, but for this one, I don't like it. It's trash. I don't like it because that's just totally smooth. There's nothing to lock in here, and then on this, you know, in there's no kind of hook or anything, because really it's just using this friction here to kind of snap that in place. But I don't see it, and I'm pushing it in all the way, and it's just not. It's not doing anything. It'll stay there for a little while, but as you see, it just comes off. So, but oh well. Okay, well, that's what we've got for that. So now let's go into final thoughts. So last thoughts on this guy. I do like this a lot. As someone who really does like the Seed universe, and as someone who likes the Astrays in particular, for me, this is an easy pickup. But I can't say that for the general audience. I think that the majority of fans are not gonna want this. There's just not a lot here. I kind of understand now why Bandai released this with the Divine Striker, hoping that you'd pick up both, because they kind of wanted you to, because there's not really a lot here, you know, that like they wanted a little bit more oomph. And so I think that's the reason why they made this work with the Divine Striker. So, you know, I didn't get the Divine Striker. I don't personally like the Testament Gundam all that much. I prefer the out frame. And so if they do a metal build of that, I definitely will get it. But, you know, that's going into a really, really small minority, I think, of metal build collectors. So I would say overall, out of 10, I would still give this a relatively high score. I think I would give it probably like an 8. Just for the fact that the articulation on it is great. The aesthetics are great. There's just not a lot as far as weapons, just because in the manga, he didn't really do much. He wasn't really in this form for very long. So, you know, this is for your hardcore Astray fans. And since I'm a hardcore Astray fan, I like it. But I think overall, like I said, I would give it about an 8. I was kind of disappointed in the adapter piece. That was really, really disappointing. But I do have other adapter pieces, so I will probably try some of those offline and see if I can get those to work. But outside of that, I don't really have any problem with it. So if you do like the Astrays, if you like Gundam Seed universe, and you like that, especially with the new movie coming out, I expect to see a lot more stuff from Seed. We've already kind of gotten the Freedom, the Sparkle version. That's like going to be like the second or third version of the Freedom. And we still are waiting on the Providence Gundam. Hopefully we're supposed to get an announcement here next month on the Providence, because the Providence has looked like it's ready to go for like the last year or two. I think when I first saw it, it looked pretty good then. And I'm actually kind of surprised that they have not released that yet. But I imagine we should be seeing some information on that soon. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.